Beyond Synth 348.
You're listening to Beyond Synth Radio. B008.5.
It's the top of the hour, which means it's time for Marko and Andy to spin the best in new synthwave. It's the Marko and Andy Power Hour.
It's the Marko and Andy Power Hour. With Andy Last.
Well, you know I love Goldeneye.
And Marko Marek.
I'm from fucking Australia.
Hey everybody, this is the Andy and Marko Power Hour. And pretty much the same shit, but we're rebranding it, all right?
I like how you even fumbled over Power Hour. The way you came in, you were just sort of like, this is the Power Hour.
Power Hour. Well, there's so much power that I can't even pronounce it properly.
So for people listening to the show, this is the Marko and Andy Power Hour. I am Andy, Andy Last. I host the Beyond Synth podcast, the interview show, and I also produce all the shows here at Beyond Synth Radio. And Marko, what's your story? Introduce yourselves to the.
Well, I guess I used to host Synthetic Sundays as one of the projects I did. It's basically a podcast / radio show where I did interviews, same kind of similar thing that Andy does. That was a long time ago now, but I've just been a long time supporter and enthusiast of synthwave music, basically.
When was the last, did you ever do another Synthetic Sunday, after the final episode?
No, not after the final episode. I came back after a year and did because everybody was saying, oh, you didn't do a farewell show, or I guess we wanted a bit of closure, and there was a couple of interviews that I never got to do that I really regretted not doing. One of them was FM Attack, actually, and he finally had an album out and he said, I'm ready, if you want to do it. I'm like, oh, fuck it, let's do a final one. Bring everybody back, Rick Shithouse, Paul Daly, the whole works, and we'll do a farewell show and end it. But after that, no, I haven't done another one.
Well, but we've been doing shows on Beyond Synth, right? So
that's right. Ever since, I mean, it's been a while now that I've been featured on your show, so that's kind of cool, and that kind of scratches that itch that I have. It really does. So, and I'm really pleased, and I'm really happy that I'm still on the show, and you haven't got sick of me yet, mate.
Yeah. Well, this is a whole new thing. We're gonna pretend that this is all. I think this is called a soft reboot.
Soft reboot
in the business. That's when they make a new Batman movie, but maybe the same actor as Batman. But they change the style and some of the other casts, so it's they're kind of rebooting it, but it's still kind of the same,
Yeah, sounds good to me, mate.
So anyway, the point is that on the Power Hour, this is where we're going to be playing newer synthwave tracks and music in and around the synthwave scene that we hear, and we each bring 4 tracks to the table every week, and we play them, and we chat in between. I got some birthdays to shout out and some other stuff to do, and we got to catch up because this is the first time we're recording in the new year. So
that's correct.
The last time we recorded was probably early December, right?
It feels like a while. Yeah, it's been a month, I think, maybe even a little more, possibly.
Yeah. Anyway, the point is this. I hope you're all having a lovely day. Welcome to the Marko and Andy Power Hour, and now I'm going to play a track, one of my picks. It's called E.P.R.O.M, or E.P.R.O.M, which is one of them nerdy computer terms, which I should look up, because I never know what these things are. It's by Waveshaper and Oscillian, and it is awesome. This is E.P.R.O.M. right, and that was E.P.R.O.M. by Waveshaper and Oscillian, two really awesome producers. And if you dig that stuff, go check out their music. And also, they were both interviewed on Beyond Synth many years ago. I'm due for maybe a catch-up with those chaps.
Yeah. Very nice fellas. I remember I bumped into Waveshaper one time at, was it Neon Retro Fest back in 2018, and that was really surreal, because I was actually going to see somebody else, and we're walking down the hallway in the hotel corridor, and I was like, oh my god, it's him. I was like, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. Guy's a bloody genius, you know.
I would like to point out, I've just visited Wikipedia, that E.P.R.O.M. stands for Erasable Programmable Read-Only Memory. Exactly. Do you know computer things? Are you, like, knowledgeable that way?
Not really. I'm okay with a computer. I used to have a friend that was really good with it, so I kind of learned a bit off him, but he used to, like, burn a lot of shit and, like, just be really good with all that stuff, you know?
I've always been, like, a medium computer knowledge guy. Like, I'm always helping other people, like, solve their computer problems if they're, like, normies, you know? But when I'm, like, in the presence of someone who's, like, an actual computer nerd, like, I know nothing. Yeah. Like, all these terms. And basically, my solution is basically what Best Buy does if you bring your computer in to get repaired. Anytime anyone has a problem, like, my computer's running slow, I'm like, back up your shit, because I'm gonna fucking wipe it and reinstall Windows, and that's always my solution, and it always works.
I don't even get there that far. I just do the Canadian reboot, you know, just turn it off and back on again and see if it works.
It's called a Canadian reboot?
Yeah, you never heard of that? Well, I guess you're from Canada, so you just call it a reboot. Dude, when I moved over, everybody at work, Canadian reboot. That's what they call it. I mean,
Canadian reboot?
Yeah, Canadian reboot.
I have never heard that expression.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
Hey, listen, I take your word for it.
Yeah.
You're an honest guy. I know you're not...
I wouldn't lie to you, Andy.
It would also be a really weird lie, to be honest.
It kind of would be, right? Yeah.
I want to hear what you did over Christmas.
What did I do over Christmas?
Yeah, but I want to hear a song first. You got a track for me.
Sure, mate. I got an awesome new track here from RetroTune. It's a chill wave track that I'm really digging. It is of the Forecast 3-track EP available at retrotune.bandcamp.com. The track that stands out to me is Stardust.
right, that was S.T.A.R.D.U.S.T by RetroTune. It's funny, actually, because my first track I picked was like E.P.R.O.M, you know, like E.P.R.O, and then yours was S.T.A.R.D.U.S.T, and it's like S.T.A.R.D, you know.
I never really understand what that means when artists do that. I mean, it's obviously like supposed to be abbreviated for something, but I'm pretty sure it isn't, you know, like what the hell would that be? Anyway, I don't know. It kind of looks cool.
Well,
though.
it's just to, you know, it's to make things look cool.
Yeah, I think that's what
it's
it is.
It's the same as, you know, when people fucking switch the A's for V's.
Yeah, I never liked that one. I mean, no, it's all right.
Well, it really bugs me because there's this one video game called Chorus, I think, and it's like CHORVS, and every time I look at it, it just looks like Corvs.
Corvs.
Like, I just want to say Corvs every time I see the stupid picture. I've never been a fan of that whole thing. The same with Terminator Genesis. You know, they tried to like spell Genesis in a funny way, and I'm just like, fuck you. Like, they deserve to be ridiculed.
Oh, for sure.
When they do things like that.
For sure. I hate that shit. Yeah, I think the first artist I ever saw do that with the V thing was Churches, I think.
Yeah.
And then everybody thought, oh, yeah, that's groovy. Let's do that, you know?
Groovy. What'd you do over Christmas?
I ate a lot of food, man. I put on like 7 or 8 pounds. I ate a lot, basically. That's the main thing. Honestly, not too much. Play a little bit of video games and stuff, but watch a few movies and shit like that.
What were you playing over Christmas?
Mostly StarCraft. I think that was about it, actually.
You play StarCraft?
Number 2, yes, I do. I played a lot. I have an Australian friend called Jamie, and we've been playing it since like 2010 when it came out. I just love the multiplayer. We play 2 versus 2 against other human players, and it's really fun. I really love it, and the games are really fast. Like, they're over pretty quick. And they start another one. And I know it's kind of dorky, but it's really cool. I love it. I love war strategy, RTS games.
That's like one of those big ones on the competitive circuit, though, isn't it?
It is. It was huge at one stage. It was one of the major ones, especially early days of esports. There was huge prize money and stuff like that. The Koreans are traditionally really good at that game. For whatever reason, they're just really good. South Koreans. And like at one stage, it was almost like their national sport. They would even telecast it on TV and shit. I'm not kidding. It was huge. It's obviously waned a fair bit now, but there's still a lot of support. But I love a good RTS game, and StarCraft 2 is easily the best RTS game there is.
RTS is a funny genre because it's one I always want to get into because I remember seeing people play Warcraft back in the day, like the original.
Yeah, the original, yep.
And I always really liked just the little men walking out and like cutting down trees, you know, to make like a tree chopping sound, like when the trees would go down. And I think what I've realized now is I might just want like a tree cutting simulator. Like I think I just like the little sound effect of like
just like cutting the trees.
Yeah, the tree chopping.
Yeah.
And gathering resources and stuff. Every so often I'm like, oh, I should get an RTS game. And then I will, and then like a few minutes into like the tutorial, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this. But also I was like playing on console, and I know that console is not.
Oh, it's terrible I mean, well, look, it's okay. I have played games, and it's playable, but if you want to play anything competitive at all, there's only so far you can go, yeah. Speed-wise.
Well, listen, here's where we're going to go right now, is we're going to listen to some more music, okay? And I got a cool track here from A-reis, A-reis, from the album Phosphine, and this track is called Space Drive. And that was Space Drive by A-reis from the album Phosphine. That's a cool song. And I'm here with Marko. It's the Marko and Andy Power Hour. We're just playing cool tunes and chatting. I have a new patron. We got a new patron. New patron for the new year. This is exciting.
Patron alert.
Yeah. 2023, our first new patron. And it is from Riley Booth.
Oh, wow. A new patron. I love new patrons. WTF? Look at this Karen yelling at my dog. WTF? TikTok sucks balls. Beyond Synth is the best. LOL.
Riley sent me a message, and I am going to read it now. But I should probably take a drink of water, because I'm coming down from like a cold. I had a fucking 2-week thing where I was just like congested, and it's still fading a bit.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. I kept messaging you to ask you, hey, if you're doing any better. You just completely ignore. Like, you'll talk about something else. So I didn't even know if you were doing better, if you're dying or what, you know?
I didn't want to show weakness in front of you.
Oh, well, there's some weird shit going on anyway.
Anyway, listen, this is what Riley had to say. Riley says, hey, so thought I'd write a quick message to thank you for your show. Been listening for a good while now and have finally caught up to the recent episodes and realized I should probably start contributing. Discovered it probably about 3 years ago while shuffling random synth songs on SoundCloud and landed on a family show. Normally I skip that kind of shit almost immediately, but I got hooked, and it has been helping me get through a lot of bad days since. Also notice a lot of your listeners are old like you, but...
You're very old, Andy.
I like subtle burns.
I'm glad he didn't refer to me there either. That's great.
Also notice that a lot of your listeners are old like you, but I actually happen to be 21 currently and have basically zero connection to 80s stuff. So I suppose that's props to you for making a show so centered around that era enjoyable, even to people like me, who never were a part of it in the first place. Hoping to up the donation eventually, but for now, I'm just excited to finally feel like a part of the show. Also, since you suck at pronouncing names, my last name, because it's spelled both, but it's pronounced like Booth. And he says, don't ask why, not even my family knows. So there you go. So thanks, Riley, for supporting the show with the 666. I should say, maybe people will know this by now, but hopefully by the time this episode airs, the Beyond Synth Patreon at patreon.com/BeyondSynth is going to be completely revamped with new tiers of rewards and different things. So we're definitely going to make it a bit more fun this year. And so if you haven't been to the website and you are a supporter, go check it out, because it's hopefully it's looking a little bit different. And this is a message to all current Beyond Synth patrons. Check your Patreon inbox because there is a lot of you who are eligible to take part on Trivia Time, which is a new show coming up. Like a third of the people I messaged got back to me, so get back to me. And also to take part and chat with Marko and I on this show, there's also a whole bunch of people who I messaged who never got back to me. So I'm getting a suspicion that they're not checking their inbox or it's going into their spam or something. I don't know, but if somebody out there does, man, let me know. And that's my story about that. So look, listen, we got to take a break. So we'll be back right after this. You know who the fuck I am! Enlighten me. Well, for starters, I'm Brandon Decker. What else? What? You said for starters. What's next? Next, you're all fucking dead! I can fucking kill all you fucks! You got that son of a bitch! He's killing us! I'm fucking killing you! I'm fucking Brandon Decker!
Brandon Decker 3, Murder Matrix. This summer.
Now that's smart. Hey, you stupid idiot! Next time you want to post something on the internet, shut the fuck up! No one gives a fuck! Now that's smart.
Hello, this is God. Beyond Synth is made possible by listeners like you. Today I would like to personally acknowledge Tim Carlton, Jacob Wick, Hugh Hefner, Emil, Mr. Magoo Samurai, and Alex Seligson. Thank you.
All right, and we're back. It's the Marko and Andy Power Hour. All right, we're having a good time today, just being cool. We had 2 crazy storms, and then we lost power for a bit. And this was over like the Christmas holiday. And then in between, where we literally had like 3 feet of snow in a day, and then a week later, the snow was gone. Like it ended up warming up to the point where it rained and got rid of the snow.
Right.
And then it happened again. It's happened twice now this winter, man. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, we were lucky we missed most of that, and we didn't lose any power too, thank God. That was the one I was worried about. We've been so lucky. But yeah, all our snow's melted as well. It's just the last week has been super warm. I think it got up to like 60-something, high 60s, which is crazy for this time of year.
Yeah, because you are in the New York region, right?
That's right, the Finger Lakes region, mate.
The Finger Lakes?
Yeah, you haven't heard of the Finger Lakes? You're right, you're only just up not that far from me.
I guess maybe I've heard the Finger Lakes before. It just sounds inappropriate.
Inappropriate? It's not what you think, all right?
Well, of course it isn't. Imagine it was. Like, that's literally why it was named that. Like, no, it's fucking whack.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking forward to getting some high-speed internet installed because I live out in the forest and it's coming soon. But I keep on having this fear that right before the technician comes, we're going to get like another one of those 3-foot snow dumps and they're not going to be able to install it.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed, mate. I mean, I think you'll be all right, yeah.
Because we lost power for about 7 hours the day before Christmas.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it was during the day, so it wasn't horrible. It was just really boring.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's super boring. Can't really cook anything. I mean, it fucking sucks.
Yeah, that was the one thing, because when I lived in Toronto, we had a gas stove. We actually lost power quite a bit for some reason. I don't know if, like, the fucking power junction for that block just happened to be next to a tree that keeps collapsing, like, every time there's a storm. And so we kept on losing power all the time. But the nice thing with a gas stove was we could still cook.
Yep.
But then I read some articles saying that if you have a gas stove, there's a good chance you're, like, a good percentage of your air is just fucking gas. Like, even when it's off, like, you're still kind of breathing it in?
Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, I haven't read that report, but that sounds like a bit of fucking baloney to me. Bit of scare tactics. It's probably clickbait, mate.
I love the idea, just like, fucking, I haven't read that report. Like we're like some serious newsmen. I've not read that report.
I have not read it, Andy, and look, I don't want to speak out of line, but I seriously doubt the credentials of that report.
Well, I'll try and find it again. I don't want to be a source of misinfo. That would be disappointing. But I do like being a source of cool music, so why don't you play me some?
Oh, that's good, Andy. I can help you out there. I got a really good track here from Pfeffermouse, who has a new album out called The Sixth Extinction. There's a lot of good tracks on there, and it's available at pfeffermouse.bandcamp.com and all other good streaming outlets. It's hard to pick just one, man, but the one that I did pick is got a really good disco flavor to it, and it is called Horizon.
All right, and that was Horizon by Pfeffermouse from the album The Sixth Extinction. And yeah, that is a cool song. And I'm here with Marko on Marko and Andy's Power Hour, just playing cool music, talking about the weather. This is supposed to be like a reboot, like, oh, this is gonna be all like hip, and it's just a bunch of old guys fucking talking about the weather. What other old guy things can we talk about?
Fucking good question. We could talk about shoes or something, maybe.
How are your shoes?
They're pretty good. I had to buy some new ones recently, but no, I'm just kidding. I'm not really a shoe person. I don't know. What do old people talk about? I'd fuck if I know.
Backs. How's your back?
Yeah, you're right. It's been pretty good lately. I had problems ever since I got that stiletto to my ass. My back has been a lot better.
Stiletto to the ass. WTF? My guinea pig looks like Marko Merrick's scrotum.
The thing about getting old that sucks, there's a couple of things I noticed, is hair in your ears. And I'm like, what is this? So I have to keep getting rid of those. That's old man stuff right there.
You know what? You know what's actually really useful?
What?
And I never used this when I was younger, but like nose hair trimmers. This is awful radio, by the way. But like,
no, I've been using them a long time. They're great.
Oh, yeah. I see. I never knew that was a, like I always saw them using it in movies, and I always associated it with 80s businessmen because those were the characters in movies who would use them. You know, like when the businessmen have like the shirt that's one color but the collar is white.
Yes.
And like you'd see them like kind of getting ready, and they'd be like shaving with the electric razor, and then they'd have the fucking nose thing.
I was about to say that. They happen to have an electric razor in their briefcase, which will pop out real quick when they're in a rush. Yep.
Now, here's the thing that I'm really trying to figure out, and maybe it's just because I've never used like the highest end or whatever, but even now, whenever I've tried to use electric razors, they're not great.
No, they're shit. They don't give you a close shave like a razor does. I'm sorry, but they don't.
Right. So then the ones in the 80s must have been horrible.
Must have been really bad. So
what the fuck? Like, how is there still an industry for this device? Because like they don't shave you.
No, they don't. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they are good now, but in my experience, they've always been terrible. Yeah.
So I think I sort of lumped the nose hair clipper into that same category, where I was just like, well, there's no way in hell that device works because like, you know, these things are shit or whatever, but they actually work, and like you can use them on your ears too, man.
Yeah, no, I have been. Trust me.
I do trust you. We are so old. This poor person, Riley, they're just like, you know, hey, I know so your listeners are old like you, and I just wanted to, that last segment was for you, Riley. That's what you get.
I know, Riley's like, oh, I've been telling his friends, I've been getting into this show. You know, it's kind of cool. They're old guys, but they play good music. And then, like, the first show that they listen to is, like, us talking about old man shit.
Yeah, well, that's what you get, man. You call me old, I'll deliver the old. I'll tell you all about my fucking special insole on my shoe. Anyways, look, the bottom line is this, all right? I want to listen to some cool music. I got one here from Syntronix and Bunny X. And this is a cool synth pop tune. I dig it, and you'll dig it too, because it's good. They put it out last year, and now I'm going to play it for you. This is Syntronix and Bunny X with Strangers Again.
Into the middle of nowhere.
And that was Strangers Again by Bunny X and Syntronix. Yeah, it's a fun synth pop tune. You know, I dig that stuff. And I'm here right now with Marko, just talking about old man stuff. Well, let's talk about young people stuff now. Let's be hip.
Okay.
All right, we did the old people. What do young people talk about? TikTok? Roblox?
TikTok is the big one. Roblox, Pokemon, what else? I don't know. What are they into? Star Wars and stuff or something?
I wonder if young people are into Star Wars. I feel like it's all old people.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm so out of touch, Andy. I don't know what young people are into.
Okay, have you ever... I've been scrolling through Tubi.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched any of the Toxic Avengers movies?
Yes, I have. I watched the first 2, I think. Maybe even 3 at one point, yeah.
Have you seen 4?
No, I definitely haven't seen.
It's called Citizen Toxie.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Dude.
Why?
I was so surprised. Like, it was there, and like, I'm not really into the whole trauma thing. Like, I find them very gross.
Fair enough.
I understand their whole purpose is just like making movies that are just the worst taste imaginable, like on purpose. Just considering the way that there seems to be like a sensitivity now to like things that aren't politically correct. The first like 10 minutes of fucking Toxic Avenger 4 might have been the most offensive 10 minutes I've ever seen. Like it was, especially looking at it through the lens of today, it was like mind blowing. I'm like, oh, I mean, I know their whole thing is these are bad taste movies, but it's like, it was shockingly bad taste.
All right, now I have to see it.
Well, let's just say it starts with a room full of like adults who are playing mentally challenged children and doing all the acting that you would associate with someone pretending to be that. And the language is pretty rude. They use all the words and then they get all blown away. Like it's like, but it's like really like ultra violent as well. There's like this terrorist organization that are like dressed up like babies, and there's like this just weird gratuitous nudity, and then like Ron Jeremy's the mayor.
Nice.
Watching it was almost like I was just picturing the whole time like, wow, those people who are like, you know, super offended by things, like what would they make of this? Like, because, you know, like nowadays it's like the things that offend people can be very subtle, you know, and it's like this portrayal of this character is insensitive for this reason, and you almost have to read like a paragraph to understand why it's insensitive because you might not understand. And this stuff is so blatantly offensive, you almost can't look away from the screen because it's like, wow, like this is every single thing you're not supposed to do or say, like they're just doing on screen. It's still not really my cup of tea, but like, it was one of the boldestly shockingest things I've seen, I think. And gross as well.
I'm so gonna watch this after we finish recording.
It's very, very gross. Because I'm also not really big into like scatological stuff, and there's quite a bit of that as well. There's a lot of like shitting and shit happening. Like it's so gross. It's just so gross. It was just the grossest thing.
Sounds really good, Andy. No, I love it.
Well, look. I tell you what, instead of talking about gross things, let's listen to cool things. And so, play me a song.
I thought you were next. No, I'm next. Oh, that's right. Okay, sorry, I'm out of touch.
You're out of touch.
You're out of time. All right, there's a new track from longtime collaborators, Betamaxx and FM Attack. They got a cool new kind of new wave song out at the moment that I'm digging. It's called Cosmic Voyage, and why don't you give it a spin, Andy?
All right, and that was Cosmic Voyage by Betamaxx and FM Attack. I was about to call them a dastardly duo, but that's not correct. A formidable duo. Is that right? Formidable?
That sounds more accurate. Yeah, they're definitely formidable. And they're cool guys, too.
Anyway, very talented, cool guys who have also both been on the show before. I haven't talked to Sean in a while, though. I said Merry Christmas to him. That was about it.
Yeah, I like Sean a lot. And I also like Nick a lot, too. They're both a couple of... Well, I've been fortunate enough to meet him in real life and see him play live. Both really good and really talented, like you said. I remember seeing FM Attack when I was up in Toronto with you, mate.
Ooh, Outland.
Man, that crowd was nuts that night. And FM Attack was on last, and then he finished, and the crowd was just constantly screaming encore, stamping the ground, and it was fucking nuts. He had to come out. It was like, what the hell? I have to come out and play more. So he did. It was pretty cool.
Before we go on, I have to do some birthdays.
It's time for Beyond Synth birthdays. Now that's a game changer.
You know, the awesome Patreon supporters, if you want a birthday shout out, you can just send me a message on Patreon and let me know when your birthday is, because I would like to wish a happy birthday. Now, we're going to do some belated birthdays because, of course, we did not put out any shows for the first weeks of January, so I would like to say a belated birthday on January the 1st to Stanislav, aka Kudzost.
Happy birthday.
So happy birthday to you. I hope you had a good one. January 1st. In Canada, when we go to school, they just order you by your birth year. If you were born January 1st, you would be like the big kid in the class because you're technically older than all the other kids. Mm-hmm. But then I had this conversation with other people who said there's some other schools that ordered their kids differently.
Really?
Yeah, I always thought it was just by your birth year. If you're born in 81, you were in grade 2, and if you were born this year, but sometimes people do it differently to make the age range more, what am I saying? It's dumb.
No, I think you're right, though. I think Jazzy, my wife, was saying that it's different here, too. Some places would do that. It wouldn't be just at the start of the year. There's a cutoff point during the year, which makes it even more fucking confusing. So you got to understand, what I'm used to being from Australia in the southern hemisphere, the school year starts at the start of the year and ends at the end of the year. There's none of this 92, 93 or 94, 95 where it's split.
Yeah.
We have our summer holidays during Christmas, right? So we have a major break at the end of the year. So we don't have these. That's what it's always weird to me up here. It's just different.
Yeah, that's a good point, though, because of the weather down there. Your breaks are at a different time, so it makes sense because we have our summer break and it breaks the thing in half.
Yeah,
because it's in the fucking July and June.
It's a big break, right?
Yeah,
right in the middle of the year kind of thing. So
look at that. See, you learn all these things about hemispheres and stuff. Listen, we got to go to a break, but when we come back, I got to read off a few more birthdays, okay? Right. So we'll be back right after this. Come on down to Dinner Dogs. Family dining for you and your pet. That's right, you can go down on all fours and eat side by side with your dog. Knives and forks? No problem, because we don't have any. Here, you gotta slop that shit up straight from the bowl, just like Rover. Hope you like kibble, you twisted fuck. So come on down to Dinner Dogs. We put the food into your face. And I'm not just the owner, I'm also a dog wearing a human mask. Now that's fucked up.
I mean, you can't look at the events of the last few years and not believe that there's not someone pulling the strings. 2008, 2020, and through it all, one name keeps popping up again and again and again.
Mike E.P.R.O.M speaking before the climate
summit.
E.P.R.O.M
supported the motion along with Hacker Congress.
Mike E.P.R.O.M spearheading the Global Currency Foundation.
And here we have Mike E.P.R.O.M, big surprise there.
Before 2020, you never heard this guy's name. And now every newscast.
And here is Mike E.P.R.O.M.
Every major government decision.
Mike E.P.R.O.M urges
Mike E.P.R.O.M seen here with the G20 leaders.
This climate committee spoke like Mike E.P.R.O.M seen here with the
Mike E.P.R.O.M
and Queen of Japan.
Mike E.P.R.O.M sitting down with the president.
I mean, who put this guy in charge? I didn't vote for him. Did you?
We are puppets on goddamn strings, and those strings are flopping over our eyes. We gotta cut these strings and wash our eyeballs before this guy opens a portal to hell. People out there are scared and looking for answers. Well, you look into the eye at the center of the pyramid, and it's Mike E.P.R.O.M looking back at you.
Find out more at newworlderdol.com. .net.tv. All right, and we're back. The Marko and Andy Power Hour. We're just having a good time. I have a few more birthdays to get to because we have another belated birthday. And this one is on January the 2nd, the next day. You know, so Kudzos was having his happy birthday. And then the very next day, Mr. Ross Pentland had a happy birthday. So happy belated birthday to you, Ross.
Happy birthday.
You're a cool guy.
Happy birthday, Ross. Hope you had an awesome day, mate. And thanks for supporting the show.
And then, January the 8th, 6 days later, we got Slade. Happy belated birthday to Slade.
Have a happy birthday.
Slade's a cool guy.
Yeah, he is. He's very cool. I don't really know him, but he's pretty cool, I'm sure.
And lastly, on January the 15th, a very happy birthday to Tatsuya Miwa.
Happy birthday.
Tatsuya Miwa, happy birthday to you. I hope this year brings you many pleasures. Is that a phrase?
That sounds kind of erotic. That sounds like something out of Hellraiser, many pleasures.
Open the box. Tatsuya Miwa, you opened the box, we came. That's my impression of Pinhead.
So not too bad. Not too bad.
That's really all I know. That last year I was listening back to some old episodes of Beyond Synth, and I think there was a period of time where I recorded like 10 episodes around like Halloween, and I had been watching clips of Hellraiser, and so I've seen like sequences from Hellraiser, but I've never seen the movie I've never watched the movie from start to finish, so I still don't really know what's going on. I just know that scene where Pinhead shows up.
Yeah.
And there's like those kind of weird other Cenobites. There's one who's like kind of like clicking his teeth and stuff, and there's like a lady one. And
yeah, the original was really good. I mean, it was one of my favorite horror movies of all time, and I haven't seen it in a while, but there's so many cool lines in it and shit.
So wait, so did you watch all the sequels, or did you give up after a while?
No, not all, and there's like so many. I think I saw the first 4 or 5. I think it might have been 5. The first 3 are good. I mean, 1 and 2 are really good. 3 is pretty good, and then 4 is meh, and then 5 is like and then it just gets worse. I mean, I just gave up after that.
You know what surprised the shit out of me is once I like started watching movies on Tubi, I had no idea how many fucking Puppet Master movies there are.
Dude.
When I go scrolling through Tubi, there's like 1 million Puppet Master movies.
Dude, I know, and I haven't seen them yet, which is crazy. I've actually got on my list as the next movie to watch on Tubi, and they're all on Tubi, I think. There's so many, and I didn't know either. I knew there was like 2 or 3, but there's a lot more than that. So
it almost feels like there's like 14 and there's like there's one that's just a collection of the kills from random Puppet Master movies. Because I saw that one. I was like, what the fuck is this? And it's literally just scenes from Puppet Master movies cobbled together with no plot.
Yeah.
I'm like, how is this on here? Like, there's so many, when you get into the realm of cheap horror films, because I'm not in that world, so there's so much I don't understand. Okay, you know there's those movies called like it's got that clown. He's like a white clown with like black lips.
You're not talking about Terrifier, are you?
Yeah, Terrifier. So there's a movie called Terrifier, but then there's this other thing on Tubi where it's got the same clown, but it's not called Terrifier. It's like a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm like, is this Terrifier just with it? Because you know sometimes you watch shitty B movies and like they say the title is one thing, and then when you press play on the movie, it just has a different title than what the fucking the label said it was.
Yep, I hate that shit.
I thought it was one of those scenarios where I'm like, am I just going to press play and it's just going to say this is Terrifier? But it didn't. It was a different movie, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, anyway.
I still have to see Terrifier 2. Terrifier 1 I thought was absolute crap, but everybody keeps talking about how good number 2 is, so I guess I'm going to be watching it sometime.
Don't we know people have music in it?
Yeah, we do, and that's a big reason to see it on its own. We do. You know, even if the movie's shit, at least you know the soundtrack's going to be good, so there's something.
Well, speaking of cool music, I got a track here to play. So I got one here from DJ Seinfeld.
DJ Seinfeld?
Yeah, that's right.
Cool name.
Jerry got into making music, and this is a fun song. This is Lost Island by DJ Seinfeld. right, that was DJ Seinfeld with Lost Island. And I'm back here with Marko on the Power Hour, just playing cool music and chatting about stuff. I was going to cancel my PlayStation thing, but I think I'm not going to now.
Why not?
Well, someone gave me a gift card over Christmas for GameStop, which then I just used to buy a PlayStation card. And then because you know what? There's a bunch of games right now I'm playing using the PlayStation Extra. I'm like, well, whatever, fuck, I'll just renew it. Because honestly, there's only 2 games this year I'm interested in. And that's Starfield, whenever that comes out, and the new Zelda game. And those are the only 2 that I feel like I'm gonna buy. And then even then, with the price of games going up, chances are I'll just subscribe to Xbox Game Pass again, because that'll be the same price for like 6 months as it will be just to buy a new game.
Yeah, I really haven't been playing my PlayStation much lately, so I am kind of questioning whether, but I get a year in advance and to save money, but then it's like, so I'm kind of locked in, but it's like, man, it's so rare that I even log into my PlayStation. Usually it's all PC stuff lately. Thanks for reminding me. I really need to log in to see what my free games are this month. Make sure I don't miss out on something good, you know?
What were the free games this month? Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. What were the other 2 games?
Yeah, come on, mate. What else is there?
Like all of a sudden I've become like the Sony rep.
That's it. Come on, man.
Yeah, because there's the 3 free games, but then they do keep on updating. And they just put on one of the wrestling games. I think it was like the last wrestling one for 2022.
Yeah.
You know, because I was a big fan of the ones on the N64.
Yeah.
And the one thing I miss, because I'm not really big into wrestling, like I don't give a shit about wrestling or classic wrestlers or anything. I just like the way those games played, and I liked creating a character. And whenever they have the new wrestling games, I always think, oh, this will be fun. Like it'll bring back memories of playing the old wrestling games. And I know like the creating character options now are so much more advanced. But the problem is, there's so much loading time.
Oh, really?
You know, like every time you want to do a new haircut, and then you got to wait 5 seconds for the hair to swap in, and you got to wait 5 seconds every time you do an option. Whereas like in the old game, on the N64, like there was no loading, right? So like when you're making your guy, it's all real quick and fast. And I mean, obviously the options are very limited, but I just don't like every time I make a decision in a character creator, I got to sit there and wait.
Yeah, that sucks.
And it's just really annoying.
So what are the new games? Your latest, you got Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Fallout 76. I couldn't get into that game. I tried. And then Axiom Verge 2. So none of those particularly do anything for me. Actually, maybe the Axiom Verge 2 might be okay.
It seems okay. I played it for like 10 minutes. I don't even know what it is.
What do you mean?
Well, because at the start...
A platformer.
I guess it is, but it's like, I don't know how action-focused it is.
Okay.
Because when you start the game, you don't have weapons, and you're just sort of walking through like an Arctic base, just like moving boxes and like turning on lights and stuff. Like, so I haven't actually gotten to the point in the game where like the main gameplay starts, where you're like, oh, it's this kind of game where you run around with an ice pick and climb walls or whatever. So like, I don't actually even know what it is. It seems okay.
Well, it's free, so I'll pick it up. But yeah, I'll play it. We'll see.
Oh, fucking free game Marko.
That's me, mate.
Fucking free game Marko. WTF? This Australian Karen totally punched my grandma in the face. Lol.
We got to wind down soon, but how about you play me one last song, and then we'll get the hell out of here.
All right. Well, actually, an artist, or I don't even know. Well, maybe they are artists because they're called Doug Masters, so there might be more than one. But I've been getting into their music lately. They do have a lot of good stuff. They've got a new album out that's really good called Digital Variety, and it's available at Synth Records. The song I picked to play off it is called Everything. I really like this one.
All right, and that was Everything by Doug Masters from the album Digital Variety. And yeah, that's a cool tune. Yeah, Doug Masters makes cool music. I know Synth Records is a good one because they send a lot of the releases my way. So
nice. Yeah, still a lot of good music around in the scene, Andy. It's very exciting.
So listen, it's been nice chatting with you.
It's been nice chatting with you too, especially the old man stuff.
Christ. I always love whenever I sit down, I'm like,
so awkward and weird.
Well, I'm like, thinking about starting this new season of Beyond Synth and going like, oh, this will be fun, we'll do all this stuff and it's going to be like this reboot and rebrand, and then like within the seconds we're fucking
the same shit
talking about ear hair. That's like, oh God.
Exciting stuff, I know. Ear hair is the worst, though. It really is bad, by the way.
That's one of the most frustrating ironies of getting older as a guy, is like you lose hair on the top of your head and then you get this hair in your ear that like grows faster than any other type of hair. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, why can't the fucking scientists, Marko, fucking take the hair out of the ear and fucking put it in your head? Why can't they do that?
I know. Where's the technology for that?
Bullshit.
I mean, if you combine your nose hair and your ear hair, there's a full head of hair right there.
Maybe someone will get on it now. They'll listen to this and go like, you know what? That's a really important scientific question that needs answers. And that's one report I will read.
Nice.
It was lovely chatting with you. For everybody else, tune in next time to Beyond Synth Radio. We got lots of fun shows coming up. And we'll be doing the Power Hour pretty regularly. So
cool stuff.
If you like listening to cool tunes, man, that's the place to be. And don't forget to support Beyond Synth on Patreon and PayPal. If you are one of those higher tier donors, you are eligible to take part in Trivia Time. I think next episode will be a Trivia Time show, so you can check that out and be part of that. And also join Marko and I for a taping of this if that's something you want to do. And we got other fun shows planned, and of course still some Beyond Synth. I got my interview with S.T.A.R.D.U.S.T I got to put out at some point, so hopefully that'll be out in a few weeks. We had a really awesome chat, and that'll be a big long episode, so tune into that. And I guess that's all I got to say. So
thanks, Andy. Thanks, everyone.
All right, bye everybody.
Beyond Synth Radio is produced by Andy Last. Check the show notes for more information on the musicians featured on the show. Beyond Synth is made possible by listeners like you. Consider supporting Beyond Synth at patreon.com/BeyondSynth. Thanks for listening.